First of all, Happy New Year! 2025 is done, 2026 is upon us. It's the perfect time to make a list of my favorite films of 2025. This is not a ranking, this is not a best of list. These are not objectively the best films made in 2025. It's just a list of films that stayed with me long after the credits rolled. These are the films that stayed in my heart. These are the films that left some kind of an impact in me in 2025. And before we get started, just a small disclaimer, the entire list is going to be in alphabetical order. There is no ranking whatsoever. So with that said, let's get started. First, we have Black Bag, directed by Steven Soderbergh. This smartly written espionage thriller is not your typical spy film. It does not have explosions, it does not have these huge action set pieces. What it has is great dialogue and a sense of urgency you barely find in a lot of films these days. It's a very old school film. It harkens back to, the 50s and 60s and this espionage thrillers of those times. And that's what I loved about it. It's exactly my kind of genre and a very character driven in some sense. There's a lot of double crossings, there's a lot of backstabbings, a lot of twists and turns. All of them feel organic in the script and every detail just matches up perfectly. The acting is great. Michael Fassbender, Cate Blanchett, Pierce Brosnan, all of them are amazing. And I don't know, this was just a great time at the movies and also probably one of the biggest surprises of the year. I had barely any expectations from it walking in and I walked out a very happy man. Next up, we have what might possibly be my favorite theatrical experience of 2025, Dhurandhar. I had a blast watching Dhurandhar. This is exactly the kind of mainstream cinema I've been missing from Bollywood, and Dhurandhar delivered it on every level. It has incredible music. Shashwat Sachdev's musical album is just a culmination of remixes of interesting tones, and I don't know how he put together this mad album, but I've been vibing to it ever since the film released. And the way it's integrated in the plot is amazing. It has at least 12 songs integrated into the plot and all of them are bangers, but more than that, it has a really good screenplay. The chapter-wise storytelling is very interesting. Aditya Dar's direction is quite patient and slowly unravels the entire world of the film, and it makes you feel like you're a part of this narrative. You really see how the politics work, how the gangs are related. It's very slow burn in that sense, but also in a way that's fascinating and constantly engaging. It has great performances. Ranveer Singh was amazing in this one. He's not an actor I typically like, but here he was really, really good. Akshay Khanna was brilliant, just amazing as Rahman Dakit, and all the praise that he's getting across social media is, of course, it's all warranted. He's done a fabulous job. Sanjay Dutt finally gets a great role. R. Madhavan, Arjun Rampal, oh my god, the cast is never ending and all of the actors do a great job. I had a lot of fun. It's 3.5 hours long and there's barely a minute that feels wasted, and I definitely want to watch more. With the sequel coming up, I couldn't be more excited, but yeah, this one was really amazing. Next up, we have another of my favorite theatrical experiences of 2025, F1 the movie. Now, just to give you a little history, I am a huge F1 fan. I love watching the sport, and if I were to review this film from the perspective of that, from the perspective of being an F1 fan, there's a lot of garbage in this movie that would not happen in real life. It is very impossible, and the first viewing of the movie, I was very confused on certain aspects and the way Sonny Hayes casually keeps breaking rules. But I think from a cinematic perspective, this film is so satisfying. It's just so satisfying. It's one of those old school blockbuster films that just exist to entertain. Every scene, every moment exists to entertain you. And I just love films like that. I love films like that, and this one really delivered in that sense. It is flawed. It has flaws for sure, and I can pick out all those flaws for you, but I don't want to because I'm having such a good time. I watched this film 3 times over the year, and that is just because of how entertaining it is, and I really love something that is made very specifically to just entertain the audience, to engage them in a world. And of course, the sound design, the production, the visuals are all phenomenal. All of this is amazing, and I had a great time. Next up, we have what is quite possibly the biggest regret of 2025, Frankenstein. Now, I say it's a regret because this film was released directly on Netflix. It had a theatrical release, but it was very limited and certainly did not have any screenings here in India. So I really regret missing this film out, though I don't know what I could have done to watch it in a theater, but I really wish this was a wide theatrical release, man. The way this film looks is gorgeous. It's stunning. Every frame is just brimming with a lot of beauty. Also, I'm not really familiar with the story of Frankenstein. This is the first iteration of Frankenstein I'm watching, and I was honestly surprised at how intimate and beautiful the story is. The relationship between the creator and his creation, the way they explore that, and the depth with which they explore the creature in the film is incredible. Jacob Elordi is phenomenal in the film, and I will be devastated if he's not nominated for an Oscar. And there are so many amazing set pieces and sequences throughout the film. This one just had me enticed throughout its runtime. If only I could watch it in the big screen, it would have been even better. Next up, we have what is one of the most refreshing and original takes on a superhero genre, Loka Chapter 1, Chandra. This was an incredibly big surprise for me. I was not really interested to see because I did not particularly like the trailer or teaser of the film. I thought it was going to be some dumb fantasy film, and I'm not really a huge fan of the fantasy genre. So I just went in blind. And when I came out, I was so surprised at how good the film was. This is exactly how you build worlds. It is very slow, very deliberate, but at the same time, it's not concerned with the other films in the franchise. It's very specifically building the world for this film. Yes, there are a lot of questions unanswered, but all of these are explored in a way that doesn't feel like they're derailing from the main plot. It's always razor sharp and focused, and yet you have so many questions in your mind. Kalyani Priyadarshan was amazing in this film. Nalson and everyone in the film were great. Some very good cameos. There's some really great action set pieces, but more importantly, I think the film has an incredible opening sequence. The first 10 minutes of the film feel like they've come out straight out of a comic book, and I loved every minute of it. This is just a great theatrical experience. Experiencing this movie with the crowd, especially that interval sequence, is one of the most unforgettable moments of the year for me. I had a lot of fun. I cannot wait to watch the other films, and if the quality in writing and direction is exactly as these films are, we might have an incredible franchise in our hands for the future. I had a lot of fun. Now that we've talked about 5 films, we need to take out some time to talk about some honorable mentions. These are films that almost made the list, and it breaks my heart they didn't. But I just need to talk about them. These are also films that are really worth checking out from this year. We have The Roses. The Roses is such a beautiful film. It's a great rom-com. It's very funny, very hilarious, and it has 2 of the best performances of the year with Benedict Cumberbatch and Olivia Colman. There's a really underrated World War II drama called Nuremberg, which has Russell Crowe and Rami Malek in it. I really enjoyed this film. It's a very old-fashioned film that moves at a very slow pace and unfolds like you're watching some very old World War II drama, and I really like that about this film. It has a really good climax and some really great characters and performances, a very interesting story. It does capture you for the entirety of its runtime. That's another one that I really loved. Now we have a Malayalam film called Echo, which is also one of the films that I was completely absorbed in while watching. It's a mystery drama that is extremely slow in the way it unfolds, but the climax of this film is probably one of the best endings of the year for me. Then we have Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. It is flawed, but I love it. It's Mission Impossible. Next we have a very heartwarming and really uplifting film called Superboys of Malegaon. Also quite underrated, didn't really do a lot at the box office, and I think this movie needs more attention. It's a great film. It's a very simple story about a group of people in a village who set out to make a film, and it's just for people who like us, who love cinema and who just love watching films. It's a great film to just see how, you know, passion is contagious sometimes, and I really love that aspect of the film. So now that we've talked about a couple of honorable mentions, let's get back to the list. Next we have No Other Choice by none other than Master Park Chan-wook. Now, Park Chan-wook is a great filmmaker. I've not watched all of his films, but the films I have watched of his are nothing short of masterful, and No Other Choice is another addition to that. It's a very interesting film. It comments a lot about the job market right now. It talks a lot about the advent of AI and how it's kind of replacing jobs, and it does that in a very exaggerated and clever and funny way. And there's so many sequences that are so memorable in this one. It really strikes a chord in terms of relatability, but more importantly, it strikes that right balance between a comedy and a drama. Like, there's a very dramatic moment and you burst out laughing. At the same time, you burst out laughing, but then suddenly something very serious happens. That balance is very tricky, and somehow Park Chan-wook just handles it brilliantly. And also, every Park Chan-wook film has something inventive about its camera work, and this one definitely does. A lot of interesting editing choices, the lot of great and unique and new ways in which he chooses to tell the story that I've not even seen before. You really have to watch it, especially if you're someone who's working right now, who's a professional out there in the job market. It might strike a chord with you. Definitely go ahead and check it out. Next up, we have what is objectively the most perfect film of the year, in my opinion. There is not a single flaw I can pick out from this film. It is just objectively perfect, and that film is, of course, One Battle After Another. Paul Thomas Anderson's One Battle After Another is 3 films rolled into one. First one is a sexually charged political thriller that goes into being a stoner comedy and finally turns into a neo-western. All 3 films rolled into one, and all of them are bangers. I just cannot explain how much fun I had in the theater watching this movie. And this is also Paul Thomas Anderson's most balanced film in terms of his artistic approach to filmmaking and also in terms of his commercial approach. Like, there have been films like Magnolia, which is like completely in a different zone, and there's films like Boogie Nights, which is like completely entertaining and very mainstream. This is like that perfect amalgamation of, you know, just making something that's rightly balanced. It also has some of the best moments of the year for me. That entire phone call with Leonardo DiCaprio, dude, it is so funny. It is so funny. I've seen that scene multiple times. It is hilarious. I just keep laughing every time. And if Leonardo DiCaprio doesn't win the Oscar for his performance, I don't know who will. I mean, this guy's a genius in this film. I loved his performance, man. Like, he was so good. And just thinking about it makes me laugh out loud. But again, there's some great performances. Sean Penn is amazing. Chase Infinity is a standout. Tiana Taylor. And of course, Benicio del Toro. He was phenomenal too. This is just an all-round great film. A very interesting direction to like really divide it into 3 different kind of tones, but all of them really work out together, and just a great time at the movies. Next up, we have a very understated drama, which is subtle with its emotions, but it really hits you hard towards the end, and that film is called Sentimental Value. Now, this is a very simple film. It's about dysfunctional relationships between a father and his 2 daughters. It's also a tale about these 2 sisters and how they navigate life. It's a very simple film. There's nothing much to it, but the way it's executed is really interesting, and the angle that it has about how art can heal people is something that really resonated with me. And the film just keeps on getting better as it progresses. It really introduces these conflicts in the relationship in a very natural way. It never feels like you're watching a film. It just feels like you're watching someone you know in life, and you're just a fly on the wall looking at situations and scenes that happen in their life. And it really works all across, and such a great script and a really good direction by Joachim Trier. This is my first film of Joachim Trier that I watched, and it's really interesting. I really want to check out the other ones. But yeah, if you've not watched Sentimental Value, and if you're into these kind of intimate dramas, then I think you should really check it out. Next up, we have Wake Up Dead Man, which is the latest in the Knives Out franchise, which is hands down one of the best franchises running right now. And this movie surprised me in multiple ways. I was always trying to play detective in the film and trying to be with the film and just try to solve the case, but I could not. This really puts you on your toes constantly. It really makes you keep guessing what's happening, and the ending is a banger. This is like one of the best endings of the year. I loved the ending and the way it brings everything together. And of course, at the core of it is a impossible mystery, something that should not be possible to have been pulled off. But the way they explain all of it is just ingenious. I love these mysteries. Rian Johnson can keep on making them. Daniel Craig can keep on starring in them, and I'll just keep watching them. This is some of the most entertaining franchises out there, and everyone does a great job. The cast is phenomenal. I'm not gonna list all of them because that will take forever, but wow, this was a pleasantly great time. And finally ending the list is Weapons. Zach Cregger's horror film Weapons is a very unique take on the genre, and I would not even like to call it a horror film. It's a mystery thriller, and I think that's more apt in terms of its tone, in terms of its pacing, in terms of what it wants to achieve. But what's really interesting about the film is the way it's told. It's told from various different perspectives of characters who are involved in this particular incident that happens in a small town, and that is a very interesting direction to take for a movie like this. And for about 40-45 minutes I was very confused as to where the film is going, but once you cross that mark, you really kind of understand what Zach Cregger is trying to do, and it just clicks. Every scene clicks after that, and it has such a fun ending, and the ending completely changes tones, and it becomes like a very goofy and funny horror-ish. I don't even know what to call that ending, but it's very goofy and funny, and I loved it. I just loved it. It was totally very different from the film, but I had a blast. It's one of the most unique and interesting films of the year, especially considering its genre. Cregger does a great job in having control of its characters and control of its storytelling. With Barbarian and this, he's definitely a director to look out for. And we're done. That's it. Those are my favorite movies of 2025. Those are the films that stayed with me long after the credits rolled. Those are the films that left some kind of impression on me. I'm sure I've missed out a lot of films that a lot of you would consider to be one of the best movies of the year, but yeah, it's probably that they didn't resonate with me on that level, or maybe I missed them out. Whatever it is, let me know in the comments what you guys thought about the list, and what is your list. What are your favorite films of the year? What are films that you really enjoyed this year? What is that film that you had a lot of fun watching in the theater? Could be anything. Just let me know down in the comments what you guys thought about. And this was such a fun video to make for me. I always love making lists. I always love making talking about films that I enjoyed, and it has been a great year for cinema. Really looking forward to 2026 to shape up to be another great year. And yeah, that's pretty much all I want to say. Thank you so much for watching FlashFlick Reviews, a safe space for cinema nerds, and I'll see you again.